India, a country that some now refer to as the Israel of South Asia. Despite it being home to the second largest Muslim population in the world, it has a dark and documented history of oppression against its Muslim minority. From the Babri Mosque demolition in 1992, the Gujarat riots in 2002, and the Delhi riots in 2020, the pattern has only gotten worse. On the 8th of April 2025, India officially enacted the Waqf Amendment Act, which many believe to be the latest political strike against its Muslim community. The response against this act was swift and fierce. By the time this video was recorded, there are already reports of 3 deaths and 150 arrested following the protests against this bill. The most intense protests broke out in Murshidabad, West Bengal, where thousands of people took to the streets chanting "Waqf belongs to Allah and not to Modi." What began as peaceful protests soon turned violent. The police opened fire, tear gas filled the air, and at least 3 were killed. In Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, the protests were peaceful but no less powerful. Sit-ins outside the mosques, rallies after the Friday prayer, and even community leaders and activists came forward, calling this act nothing less than an attack on the religious minority. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board warned that this bill violates the very soul of the Islamic endowment traditions. But what exactly is this Waqf Bill? Why has this triggered so much outrage? To understand this, we first need to understand what Waqf is. Waqf in Islamic tradition is a charitable endowment. A Muslim donates land, property, or even money for the sake of Allah. Once given, the property becomes irrevocable. It then belongs only to Allah and is meant to serve the community forever, through mosques, graveyards, schools, water sources, or even by supporting the poor. Waqf is not personal property. It cannot be inherited, sold, or seized. It is a spiritual trust passed through generation, protected by the Sharia and historically Indian law. So what is this new Waqf law? There were 4 key changes made under the Waqf Amendment Act. First, the Act mandates that non-Muslim members will be included in both the Central Waqf Council and the State Waqf Boards. And now, every single member of these boards will be appointed by the state. This strips away community representation. Secondly, only those who have been practicing Islam for at least 5 years and own the property are allowed to declare a Waqf. In addition, the concept of Waqf by user, which protected numerous mosques and graveyards, has now been abolished. Thirdly, the power to survey and determine Waqf lands is now handed over to the district collector. They alone can decide if a property belongs to Waqf or the government, and they have the authority to update land records accordingly. And fourth, decisions made by the Waqf tribunals can be challenged in High Court within 90 days, which adds another layer of judicial oversight. Many believe that this will be misused by the state governments. So how does this bill affect Muslim lands? This is where the real danger lies. With the Waqf by user removed, a mosque or graveyard that has served the Muslim community for over 200 years without official documentation can now be declared non-Waqf and seized by the government. And it won't be scholars or religious leaders deciding this. It will be the district collectors, bureaucrats under political influence. If they deem a land undocumented, it will be seized by the state and used for infrastructure, development, or can be even sold to a private entity. This isn't just another policy. This is part of a systematic pattern, one that seeks to dismantle the foundations of the Muslim institutions in India, brick by brick, law by law. The Modi government calls it reforms, but for millions of Muslims, this feels like them taking what was never theirs to touch. The Waqf Bill may be written in the language of governance, but its ink is soaked in history, fear, and resistance.